The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. We're with you every step of the way.
Hey, everybody, welcome to today's Thursday 30. I'm Matt Stradley, and we're joined by the women's golf team. We're joined by head coach Ericka Schneider and Baylee-Evans, the lone returner and upperclassman on this fantastic Bulldogs team. Y'all, how we doing today?
Good, and yourself?
Oh, yeah, doing good. Just kind of sitting out this rainstorm that's coming through. Baylee, real quick question. When I'm looking outside and I'm seeing all this rain, in golf, they typically tell you not to play in the rain. What's the hardest it's ever rained and you just like, I'm finishing out the round?
I mean, it's came down before where I haven't even been able to see where the ball is going or anything. You can't see a target. It's just coming all kinds of which ways. And I mean, people tell you not to go play in it, but we can't stop until, literally, unless the greens are flooded or, there's lightning and, unsafe weather around us. But other than that, we're playing in it. It doesn't matter.
Coach Schneider, you've got a lot of newbies coming onto this team. What's it like to bring in a recruiting class that big, and also tell me what it's like to get a team like that to gel?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of traveling, a lot of keeping up with scores online, a lot of relationship building, making sure that not only I meld with the player, but the player melds with me. I'm big on communication and developing relationships with my players. So getting to know them on somewhat of personal level, making sure that my personality is going to match theirs, my coaching style is going to match theirs. It takes a lot of courting, if you will. But I've got kids coming from all over, and I have to say we are a quirky bunch. And it's going to be exciting next year because I feel like it's a group of girls that are very intrinsically motivated, not only academically, but athletically. I think that they're going to push each other to be better student athletes, better members of this community. I feel like everything that it means to be a Bulldog, I found in the girls that I'm bringing in. And I mean, they have a great role model in Baylee as far as showing them the ropes and understanding what's supposed to be happening. Baylee and I are going to have a lot of patience this next year as far as we know the expectations. We know what we're supposed to be doing, and they're not going to have a clue. So we have to remember that and be patient. But I've got one coming in from California. I've got one coming in from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, one from Clinton, South Carolina, one from Wilmington, North Carolina, and then two from Waxhaw, North Carolina. And so we'll have 7 on the team next year, but it took a lot of time. It did.
Absolutely. Baylee, a lot of that is going to follow you to help coach, get that culture, that Bulldog culture into all the new players. She also talked about coach's coaching style. Baylee, to you, what is coach's coaching style?
Oh, wow. I'll just start off and I'll say that I love how coach handles everything that comes with coaching, everything with her as, personally as a person. I believe it's in her nature to do this, and her coaching style is very different from coaches that I've seen in the past and coaches that I've talked to personally. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I believe that it's nothing but nothing but good comes out of it. And so, she's talked a lot about melding or meshing with the players. And that is something that I also have like a big, huge thought on, is like, if you can't have that relationship with your coach, then it's not going to work out. You're not going to develop into the player that you want to be. And therefore you're not going to reach the potential that you can reach. And I know that with Coach Ericka, I can reach that full potential. Definitely. So her coaching style, I would believe, it's just all around awesome. I love it.
Well, thanks.
Fantastic advertisement for Coach.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Hey, Coach, you said it's a quirky bunch coming in. How does that fit with the player that you already have, as far as any?
I don't know that you get any quirkier than Baylee.
Yeah.
I would say that all fit really well. What one might not bring to the table, the other does. And I told Baylee, I said, make sure, her and I talked about youth recruit when they came in. I always asked for her opinion because they're going to be her teammates for the next 2 years. And a lot of the times there's something that I won't see from a coaching standpoint when I meet these kids, because they're going to put on their best face. They're going to do whatever they can to get them to come to UNC Asheville. And so Baylee gets to see a little bit more of them than I do, a little bit more the realer side of them. And so I trusted her opinion and some of the feedback that she gave me from spending with these girls. And I mean, everything was positive. And when you spend the amount of time that we spend together with 7 girls, it's like having 7 sisters. You're going to get on each other's nerves. They're going to be irritating. And you know what? You're going to love hard and you're going to hate hard. But at the end of the day, the bond of a teammate is something that you have for the rest of your life. And making sure that we could have a group of girls that can create that bond was really important to me. So I leaned on Baylee for making sure that we were going to be able to create that.
Baylee, we've talked about where things are going with this team. Let's talk about where things have been with this team. You're playing, the season's going on, and then all of a sudden it's over, school is over, and you're on your way home. What's that like?
It was sad. It was very, very sad. I drove by our van the other day. I was leaving work and I drove by our van, and I just thought about how that was the last time that I would be in the van with the teammates that I had, and it was cut so short, and I hated it. We all hated it. You know, we had 4 seniors and they started the program and their last season was canceled. They weren't able to finish everything out. They weren't able to have their graduation on time and all of that, and have our home tournament too. They weren't able to have that last home tournament, and it was sad. Honestly, I can feel myself getting a little emotional, but it was just really sad for all of us. And Coach talked to us in the van on the way home. She was on so many phone calls and so many meetings just from the time that we came back from our spring break trip to the time that we hit the ground. She was in like phone calls to figure out what was going on. And she was honest with us, and she said, guys, this might be the last time. And, being as close as I am with the teammates that I had, it honestly broke our hearts, and like we hated it. We hated every second of it. But I'm so thankful for what I've had with them and what they've given me and what they've taught me. And so we all keep in touch. We're all great friends. And so, yeah, it just really heartbreaking.
I know that's completely understandable. Coach, having to deliver that news, I imagine can't be easy. Tell me about the process of getting that information and then distributing that information, and also the importance of that home tournament to what your team does.
Sure. Well, we were on our way to Hawaii for our spring break trip. We were playing in a golf tournament there, and it started to get a little dicey. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to go to Hawaii, and found out that we were okay to go. And then we are starting to get more and more information. When we were in Hawaii, it was like we were in our own little bubble. As far as you could see on the news what was going on back stateside. But when you're on this island in just the middle of nowhere, you had no idea that there was a pandemic brewing. People were out at the beaches and tourism was up. And it's just, we were in a twilight zone. We had no idea. It wasn't until we got to the airport and we saw like the craziness of the way people were acting that we saw the true realization of what was going on. And I got the phone call when we were sitting in the Chicago airport that not only was our home tournament canceled, but most likely the rest of our season. And so I decided to tell them right then and there, because I didn't want them to see it on social media. I didn't want them to find out from someone who wasn't me. The last way that I would have wanted to hear about it was by looking on social media, knowing that my coach knew about it and that she didn't tell us. And so I kind of sat there and I told them, I said, listen, as information comes to me, I'll let you know. I will be as open and honest with you as I can. As far as what's going on, it's a constantly evolving situation. I said, right now, we don't have a home tournament. And that broke my heart. It took everything I had not to be in tears to tell them that, because I had 4 seniors, and it was supposed to be our year where we were going to commemorate the fact that we finally had our first graduating class. And we were going to honor our seniors and have a nice ceremony with all the parents and friends and everybody from our program. And we never got the opportunity to do that. And that broke my heart for them, because I pulled on my college experience, and I mean, remembered the time that I had when I was a senior and how much fun it was when you come to the end of it. And so it was hard to tell them that, and then to continue to have to tell them after that the next tournament was canceled. The next tournament was canceled. Okay. Sorry, but your season is done. The last tournament that you just played in, that last round, was the last one you'll ever play in. And that's not easy to hear as a player. It's not easy to deliver as a coach, and nobody's ever gone through it before. So you can't talk to anybody and say, hey, how can I help my student athletes better get through this? Because everybody's dealing with it for the first time at the same time. And our home tournament, this was going to be the second year for it. And so it's our major fundraiser for our program. And we have an incredible amount of support from the community of Asheville. We get to host it at Walnut Cove, which it's a facility that rivals Power 5 schools. I mean, the last place I take recruits when we do official visits is the golf course. And the one thing that they say when they walk out and they see the practice facility is, wow. They have nothing else to say but that. And to leave the taste in your mouth that the girls didn't get to play in that tournament was a little sour. But we were supposed to have 15 teams come and play in it. We had sponsors that were going to be signed up for it. So we were supposed to have a hospitality tent the whole time. Last year we had 11 teams, and it was a 2-day tournament, 36 holes. This year it went from 11 to 15 teams, and we went to a 54-hole tournament. So as far as from the first year when we had it to what we were going the second year, I mean, it grew. And so did the notoriety of the tournament, because we had a lot of people that wanted to play in it. The first year we had Nancy Lopez come and be our keynote speaker for,
That's such a huge name. That's so amazing.
Yes. So one of the ladies that helped co-chair the tournament with me, Donna Baylee, is good friends with her. And so the first year she helped set that up, and that really set the stage for the kind of tournament that we were trying to put on. Is we wanted to have a tournament where not only was it a world-class tournament for the student athletes playing in it, but for the spectators and the sponsors. And the way that I kind of approached it is I played on the Symetra Tour, and I experienced a lot of interacting with people in pro-ams and clinics and that kind of stuff. And I said, I don't want it to be a normal college golf tournament. I actually asked, can we model it off of the tournaments that I played in professionally and make it an event for the community, not just an event for the people coming to play in it. And Donna Baylee helped me do that. And after the first year, she stepped down to help the university with some bigger projects. And another woman that was on the board and the committee, Karen Spacek, she helped me co-chair it. And she helped me co-chair it to bring it into an even bigger tournament. And so we were supposed to have a really spectacular event this year. And it's, again, like I said, our only fundraiser for the program. And we have a lot of people that support through that tournament to help our program out. And a lot of those people come from different golf courses. The majority of them come from Walnut Cove, but Country Club of Asheville, Biltmore Forest. We practice at all those places. So we've got a lot of people who support our program. And I was sad that we weren't able to be able to put on the event like we did the previous year. But we've actually switched it from a spring tournament, which it was supposed to be in March, and we've switched it to a fall tournament. So now it's going to be the first weekend in November in 2021. And so we figured, with Asheville being a kind of retirement area and a place that people like to vacation and come in the summer and then go elsewhere in the winter, we would give ourselves the opportunity to have a lot more people from the community be involved in the tournament. It would give people the opportunity to feel comfortable hosting teams again, because every team that plays in our tournament is hosted at a private home inside the gates of the Cliffs at Walnut Cove. And so with all that's going on, we wanted people to feel comfortable doing that again, opening up their homes, because that's really what makes our tournament special. You don't get to stay in host families, especially the homes that are in Walnut Cove, like in any other tournament. And to be able to offer that, we didn't want to have a tournament where they just be staying in a hotel again. We wanted to be able to offer that, because that's a big piece of why our tournament is so special. And so pushing it back, giving people the opportunity to where maybe, hey, they'll be in town a little bit longer if we move it in the fall instead of kind of middle of winter, that we could involve a lot more people, not only with sponsors, but volunteers, spectators, just the community as a whole, getting them kind of together to do something again. And we figured November of 21 would be a good date to do that.
Baylee, I know that we were looking forward to playing in the home tournament. I wanted to ask you a more uplifting question, because gosh, it's so horrible how everything just kind of dropped. If you could play, or your favorite course that you've ever played on, let's ask that. The one that you've just enjoyed. And it could be like a municipal course you just tear up. That's fine too. No one's going to judge you. It's fine. It's good.
I was actually asked this question by a member at Walnut Cove the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even anything about advertisement. I literally love the cliffs at Walnut Cove so much. Like,
Awesome.
I remember going there for the first time, and like Coach said, you just say wow. And it's a great track in general, and it gives you so many opportunities to like make your mistakes and then learn from your mistakes and then put those mistakes in place. And I was telling someone the other day, I said, as the more that I play it, the more that I realize where exactly I need to play this ball in this hole, and, you know, where to put the ball in the green on this hole. And then even like having Coach there with me sometimes is like awesome too. And I just think that, Walnut Cove is definitely probably one of my favorite courses that I get to play on a daily basis and all that. So
That's awesome. My favorite course was a course called Arrowhead. It was shot out. It was terrible, but I could score. I could definitely score there. They turned it into outlet malls in Burlington now. So unfortunately, my favorite course I've ever played doesn't exist. Coach, what about you?
Ooh, I have top two that I can't decipher between. One of them is the Concession in Bradenton, Florida. Phenomenal golf course. It's very hard. It's link style, out in the open, not a whole lot of play. There's never a blade of grass out of place. It's just, I mean, you can't get conditions better than that. And the other one was when I played in college. I also got the opportunity to play in a golf tournament in Hawaii, and it was at Kapalua. It was not the tournament course that they play for the PGA Tour. It was the Bay course. I grew up in Florida, so I'm obsessed with the ocean. There was one instant on that golf course where I just fell in love with it, and it had nothing to do with the actual golf course. I'm standing on the 9th tee, and it's a downhill par 4, and you look out into the horizon, and I had honors on the tee, and I just stood there dumbfounded and I just couldn't swing. And the girls kept calling my name, like, Ericka, it's your turn to hit. And I was just like, yeah, and all I could do was point. And out on the horizon, I saw 4 whales jumping. And I was just like, who gets to see this? So we all just kind of stood there and just took a moment to kind of reflect on how special it was that we got the opportunity to see that in there in that moment. And the group in front of us didn't see it. The group behind us didn't see it. We were the only 3 people on the golf course that happened to see it because we were in the right spot at the right time. And it was an absolutely incredible experience, and it has nothing to do with the golf course.
That's awesome. That's brilliant. Baylee, golf's a very individual sport that's played in a team setting. Walk me through that, because it seems to me like to say an individual team sport. When I said that earlier, Coach called me an oxymoron. What's that like?
That I think I'm still trying to figure all of that out, because it is such an individual sport. You are out there on the golf course by yourself. You don't have your teammates around you. You have your coach and everything, but you don't have your teammates around you 24/7. And you're all out there individually hitting your shots. There's no one else doing it for you. You're making your mistakes, you're making your ups and downs, and you're mentally going through it by yourself. And like I said, I'm still trying to figure it out. But with my 2 years that I've been playing college golf on a team, I have learned that even though it's an individual sport, you still have your teammates there with you. And from the time that you get off of the van or you get back into the van, and like all the traveling that you're doing, the practicing that you're doing, they're there to what is it? You're also there competing against them too. So while it's a team effort, you're still there competing against them, and that does nothing but help you in the long run anyway. And it's actually very hard sometimes to remind yourself that you are playing on a team and that you feel like you have to do this, you have to do that, so therefore you put pressure on yourself. I've struggled with that a lot too, is like putting so much pressure on yourself because you feel like you have to, you want to do good for the team. You don't want to do bad. Nobody wants to do that. And with it being such an individual sport, you sometimes just put so much pressure on yourself, and you have to remember, and your teammates are there to remind you that it's just not, it's individual, but it's not always individual. So
I got you. That makes sense. Coach, new scholarship just got endowed for the women's golf team. That's exciting.
Yes, it was actually named in honor of one of our seniors, Adeline Deary. And when you think about what it means to be a Bulldog, you honestly couldn't have, whoever it was anonymous, and they could not have picked a better representative of what it meant to be a Bulldog. She led by example. I never had an issue with her as far as not doing what was expected of her. Phenomenal teammate, phenomenal captain, great student. As far as coaching goes, I would have easily taken an entire team of Addies. She was sneakily sarcastic, very funny, but also quiet at the same time. I mean, she's the kind of person where you're having a conversation and she'll have that one liner and it's so short that maybe 10 seconds later, everybody starts laughing because you realized what actually just came out of her mouth. And it's so surprising because she's just this sweet, quiet individual that is polite. And I mean, just an incredible representative of what it means to be a Bulldog. So I couldn't be more proud of the fact that that scholarship has been endowed in her name. And it'll be fun to get to pick the person that gets that scholarship from year to year. Pick the person that we think that best represents the qualities that she had, and the ones that what it means to be a Bulldog, because she had every quality. Every box was checked on that list with Addie. I couldn't be more proud that she was the one that got named after.
Baylee, I'd argue that golf may have the strongest representation theatrically over any other sport. I mean, just such classics like Happy Gilmore. I get those two mixed up because they're the same, but one of them has a golf club in it. Caddyshack, just really serious drama. Like those movies. What's your favorite golf movie, Baylee?
probably Caddyshack. Me and my dad talked about it. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. He brought it up because he was wondering if any of my friends had seen it or my roommates had seen it. And I was like, no. He was like, well, you need to go show him because that's a classic. And I was like, okay. Even if you don't know like how golf works or anything, it's not really for that. It's just a hilarious movie, and I love it. We always watch it.
I'd argue that you don't necessarily need to know how golf works to enjoy Happy Gilmore as well.
No.
Coach, is your answer different from Baylee's?
I like both of them. I grew up playing hockey, so Happy Gilmore was always really fun to me because it had the hockey component in there.
That's right.
But Caddyshack, I got to play with Bill Murray once, and so that's always held a special place in my heart. I was a member of the First Tee, and I played in the Walmart First Tee Open, and it's a tournament where you, as juniors, qualify for and get to play with a member of the senior tour. And so the member that I played with was Jeff Sluman, and his best friend is Bill Murray. And so they paired me with him because they always look for the players that can handle him the best. And if you ask Baylee, I'm probably the silliest, most jovial, relaxed, goofy person that you'll ever meet. And so as far as sense of humor goes, they thought that I would be a good fit to play with him because I wouldn't get distracted because I'm just as distracting. And we had a blast. It was a lot of fun. The greatest 18-hole experience of my life. Just all around. And I mean, how could you not like Caddyshack when you get to play golf with one of the people that starred in it?
So true. Baylee, you can play golf with anybody. You can make it one other person, 3 other people, however many. Who are you playing with?
Why is that such a hard question? Everybody.
It is, because I knew I was going to ask you that.
I just like went blank.
Well, I knew I was going to ask you that, and I've been thinking about mine for about a day or 2 now, and I still don't.
Oh, okay. So he's ahead of the game. Okay.
No, that's just it. I'm not. I still have no clue.
Jeez. I know for a fact that one person I want to play golf with, and yes, they are golfers. I do want to play with Tiger Woods. I love him. But another person I would want to play golf with, like, do they have to play golf? No? No? Okay.
Why not? How do you not? You're making the rules here. I don't. I'm just
right. I make the rules. Give me a second. I'm thinking.
You got it. That's tough.
That's like a really hard question.
It really is.
Hey, Baylee.
What?
On 3, close your eyes. 1,
Jeez, here we
2, 3.
Sandra Bullock.
There you go.
That'd be fun.
Because I love Sandra Bullock.
And by the way, that's fantastic coaching.
No, she does that to me. We will be in the middle of a golf tournament, and I can't decide whether I want to do this or that. We were sitting on the putting green, and I had a putt, and she was like, "All right, close your eyes," and I was like, "Okay." She was like, "I'm gonna count to 3, and you're gonna say your answer," and I was like, "What?" She was like, "Nope, you're gonna say your answer." And that's literally what I did.
Works every time.
It
does,
did.
yeah.
I can't believe that we got a Sandra Bullock out of that, because that would be so fantastic, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I would
Coach.
I
That's quite a trick.
Yeah, I mean.
I like that trick. Baylee, do you have a third, or I don't want to put you on too much on the spot, although at the same time. I want to watch this thing happen again. Coach, do that thing again.
Baylee, ready?
No, wait, just give me 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds. Just 2 seconds.
You can do it.
She's going to close her eyes again, isn't she?
Yeah. Close your eyes. Who do you see?
Okay. I see Jeff Dunham, the guy with the
Works every time.
Ventriloquist?
Man, that's a
yeah, there you go.
foursome.
That guy.
That would be
quite
such a wild, eclectic conversation between those 3 people and you. I'd buy tickets to watch that pay-per-view, I
Yeah,
think.
as long as they were mic'd up.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Coach, that was a fantastic technique you just showed. And I think it's very clear that we've seen that what Baylee's been able to learn from you. I've heard something about Baylee-isms that you've learned from her.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me a little bit about those?
So it can be called Baylee-isms, or it can be called the Baylictionary.
Dictionary. I'm gonna write that down.
It's you honestly never know what is going to come out of this kid's mouth. And it's never bad or inappropriate. It's just these one-liners that are so off the wall that you can't even, you can't fathom where she's pulled them from. But before we started, I was kind of telling you that there was one day we were on the driving range, and Baylee was standing there and she was hitting golf balls, and she started rifling through the balls, and you could tell that she was just getting more and more frustrated. And so I sat there and I was like, hold up. I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, talking about how she's trying to make something happen. Well, anybody who has any experience playing golf knows that the moment you try to force a result is the moment the result doesn't happen. And so I had the Jedi mind conversation of sometimes you have to give up control to gain control. And she just put her hands on her hip and she looked at me and she goes, Coach, what kind of loaded baked potato full of BS is that? And I couldn't talk for the next 5 minutes because I was laughing so hard. And those are a dime a dozen in the middle of
What are you supposed to say to that? That's so fantastic.
You just can't. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones.
I know I was just going through my head and like I thought of a few of them. And
are they ones you can repeat?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It was kind of very recent where you looked at me and we were talking about being committed. And I looked at you and I was like, and I said, Coach, I said, maybe this is why I have a problem with being in committed relationships because I can't commit to my golf shots. And you literally just looked at me and you were like on the ground laughing. And I was like, what? I'm being serious.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it. Let me see if there's.
Yeah, she's had to write them down sometimes.
I like that you got a Baylee-ism Baylee-lictionary.
Yeah.
I do. There was one where she said, I have a couple of them written down.
I like any of them that start. There's one where she said,
wait.
That's so fantastic.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I can get her going and she'll start
so there was one, I was telling her where to hit the putt. And I said, 1.5 cups. And Baylee hits the putt, doesn't even hit the hole. I mean, just wide right. And she goes, wait, did you say 1/2 cup or 1.5 cups? And I said 1.5 cups. She goes, oh, no wonder I missed it low. And I was like, you couldn't ask me that before you hit the putt?
Well, I thought I heard you, then I missed it and thought, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, another one is she goes, Coach, it would have been perfect if I would have hit it where you told me to.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see if I have another one. Oh, you were standing on the driving range the day that we heard. It was at Kiowa. There was a girl that was. A coach said to one of her players, "Why is your hat brighter than hers?" And the player goes, "It doesn't see the sun because I don't travel. Thanks for reminding me."
Oh God. That's my favorite line I've heard maybe ever. That's so amazing.
And the look on the coach's face, like, and everybody standing around them, it was just, I mean, nobody could hold it in. It was absolutely hilarious.
What can you do?
Yeah,
we're going to give that one to Baylee, even though it's not a Baylee-ism. I think we'll create
There's plenty of them, honestly. We say this all the time. I'm like, Coach, what if we had to be mic'd up for this stuff? And she was like, there's no way. So
we'll try to write them down next time.
What if we're going to put Brian on the spot? What if we figured out a way to broadcast the home tournament in 2021? Would that be something that would make you more or less nervous, more or less excited?
Are you asking us or are you
asking Brian? I'm asking you because Brian's muted out. He can't talk. So.
Is he talking about being mic'd up or is he talking about like just broadcasting it in general?
Just broadcasting it in general. Okay, I've played golf and you can't put that on the air the way I play. So
well, there are some regulations to college golf on the language that the girls can use.
Sure.
They do get creative.
How many languages can you curse in, Baylee? That was my way around it in high school. Is I just went different languages. Oh, that's not bad.
Wait,
but they're the only words I know. So.
What did you ask?
Which time? I was asking about broadcasting. If that's something that would make you more or less excited, more or less nervous, and then I asked how many languages you knew how to curse in, because that was how I got around the profanity rules. Was if no one understood me, then it wasn't really against the rules, right?
Yeah, you're right. Coach, like you said, there's 3. Honestly, it happens so fast, and I don't even realize that it's like it's like what if it's son of a biscuit? I know I say that a lot, or I'm like, Coach, what's another one? I blank on it because I just don't even realize that I'm like saying it. I hit the ball and it's not a good shot, and I'm like, son of a biscuit.
So you basically self censor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a skill. That'll take you far.
I used to say Fuddruckers.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I almost got talked to one time because my son said that in preschool. That was a conversation. They were like, "Hey."
Did they not realize it's a restaurant?
Well, apparently not. They were like, "He said something, and then this," and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna take him for his birthday lunch." Like, oh, Fuddruckers. That's not what he said. And I was like, fantastic. I appreciate the call in. I like that. The self-censoring will take you so far in life. It's a
And
brilliant skill, and one that I
it's
think you're born with.
entertaining.
I'm sure. Absolutely. BAA Golf Classic. That's something that's coming up. I know y'all won't be. Will y'all be in town for that or no?
We won't. We have a tournament. It's October 19th and 20th. And it is the tournament that our athletic department hosts to raise money for our scholarships, our student athlete scholarships. And in the past, my girls have been there to help direct traffic, bring out lunches to people. I play in it whenever I'm here. And I think if the girls don't have classes, typically they'll play in it as well. But it's a great event, and I'm sad that we're going to miss it this year. We typically would be here for it, but because of COVID, everything's kind of been pushed or postponed, and so it was moved later in the year and happens to fall when our team will be at a golf tournament. But it's a great event, and if people are here and they want to come out and play in it, it's going to be held at Country Club of Asheville. It's a great tournament, a lot of fun, and it benefits a really great cause as far as our student athletes and making sure they get a great education.
Baylee, how old were you when you started playing golf?
How old am I? 20. I've been playing golf since I was about 5 or 6. So it's been a very long ride.
Coach, how about you?
I picked up a golf club 2 weeks before my freshman year in high school. I was 14.
Wow.
Really? I don't think I knew
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, my high school golf coach has a scorecard where I'm pretty sure I shot like 68 on 9 holes and kept it. So,
For a second, you were like, where I shot 68. I was like, whoa, on 9 holes. That sounds familiar.
yeah. So it wasn't pretty the first year.
But then you went from
Everybody's
that
got
to tour golf,
Yeah. I played, like I said, I played hockey growing up, and we were supposed to have a hockey team in high school, and funding fell through. And so I figured you whack something with a stick in golf and you whack something with a stick in hockey. So I'll give it a go. And that was legitimately how I made my decision to play golf. And then I got involved
hockey.
Yeah, I was like, and I went from literally the most aggressive sport to the most docile one. And I couldn't understand why I couldn't get my anger in check for at least the first 2 years. And it's like, what do you mean I can't check somebody mid fairway? So,
I don't know that I'm pretty sure it's against the rules, but there's got to be some kind of a hybrid offshoot of golf that would be marketable.
I feel like we could do some type of hockey golf hybrid sport that could be very entertaining.
I'd play.
I'd watch. There's no way. I'm on my third knee.
A chance to hit something on the golf course other than a golf ball, sign me up.
I struggle enough hitting a golf ball. Why don't I just keep it there? That's where I should be. Baylee, I know you're looking forward to getting back to it. Around the house, what are some things that you're doing to kind of try to keep the feel?
Try and keep the feel. Well, I've been working at the Cliffs at Walnut Cove and everything. So
so you just go to work and that's
yeah,
okay.
basically. So I've been doing that, and then doing a little bit of practicing here and there whenever I have time off and everything, and just making sure that I'm just enjoying every second I can of it. So,
Coach, for the fans watching at home, what are some little drills they can do that are going to make them a lot better?
Well, the first thing they can do is get off the driving range.
Done.
Half of the shots that people hit are on the putting green in their round of golf. And most people spend 5 to 10 minutes before they go out and play putting. And that's the only time that they ever putt. And I had a coach of mine ask me this when I was playing on tour. I was struggling with distance control, as a lot of people do outside 20 feet. She was the assistant coach at Ole Miss when I played there. Her name is Janelle Howland. She's now the head coach at Lamar University out in Texas. And she asked me, she said, what club do you hit from 95 yards? Told her. She goes, what club do you hit from 127? And I told her. And the second time she asked me, I knew where she was going with it, and I so wanted her to stop. She then asked me, okay, how far do you take your putter back from 65 feet? And I was like, She goes, how far do you take it back from 30 feet? And I was like, I don't know. She goes, exactly. You know what clubs to hit from specific distances, but when you get on the putting green, you are guessing every time you hit a putt. So how do you expect to have speed if you don't practice it the way that you practice everything else? And that's something that stuck with me. And Baylee knows they are required to do. You want to tell?
I was gonna say it definitely stuck with her, because trust me, I think like I hear it all the time. And the first thing she tells us that we are required to do whenever we get onto the golf course, if we're going to the putting green, is we have to do the speed drill. We have to do a speed drill. Like it's not even a question. Don't even question it anymore. Just don't even. When you get there, you better grab your 10 tees or whatever, 5 tees, and she has a, what is this? It's a measure.
A tape measure?
Tape measure, yeah. Tape measure. And we have to put it all down in increments of 10 feet every time. And you and one of the persons stand on the end of it, and you guys putt to 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet. And you don't have to do it in the order, but you can do it from every order that you want to. But that helps with like speed of the greens, especially if it's somewhere that you've never played before.
And the goal of the drill is you never hit the same putt twice. So you mimic what's going on out on the golf course. And the reason I don't have them putt to a hole and I have them putt to a tee is because their goal is distance. Their goal is not making it. When you start to putt to a hole and you're working on distance, you're worried about making it, you forget about speed. And so that's why we do it with tees. And then that way they learn, when the tees are set up in 10-foot increments out to 60 feet, you alternate what distances you're hitting from. You take your 6 golf balls and you hit your putts, and there will be one at every tee. You never hit the same putt twice. You go through it for 20 minutes up and down. Then that way you've got uphill, downhill, left to right, right to left putts. Every experience that you're going to get on the golf course putting, you've already practiced. You understand the speed of the green. And it's solely speed. It's not worrying about making the putt, because making the putt is a product of having the right read and the right speed. And so it helps them get their mind in the right place of how to approach a putt on the putting green.
I think there's a little bit of mental fallacy about wanting to go to the driving range, because a small mistake when you're hitting a 2-iron, it's noticeable. It's yards and yards and yards. On the putting surface, it may not be as noticeable, that same size of a mistake. But the makeup is the exact same thing. It's going to cost you a stroke. So
Absolutely.
Even though it's more noticeable, it's not necessarily going to affect your game more than the putts, and actually less than the putts, because I can tell you that no matter how much I wish I could hit a 2-iron more than my putter, that's not how it works.
Yeah. I ask them a lot, whether they're hitting a putt for birdie, if they're hitting a putt for double, what's the difference between the putt? It still has to get in the hole. What it's for doesn't matter. If you put emphasis on different shots, if you make more shots, other shots more important than others, you're going to start to stress yourself out. If you approach each shot individually, not for what it's for, not for what it was, as far as bringing the future into it or bringing the past into it, you have to stay present in golf. And so we talk about this all the time, making sure that what you're doing right now, you're staying present, and that you're doing everything in your power to hit that shot to the best of your ability. And how do you do that? Okay. You make sure that the shot that you just hit, the shot that you're going to hit, do not dictate how you're going to hit this current shot. And so we do a lot of talking about that with course management.
Oh yeah.
The philosophy of golf, in fact, staying present.
Yes.
That's brilliant. It's been fun to watch the Baylee and Coach Schneider interact, as far as like the coaching that's going on and the support between the two of you. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to see, and I can't wait to see how this next season goes for both of you. We're gonna wrap up the Thursday 30, but what I always like to do is to start with outlandish claims and one, we just, best case scenario, thinking about the season that's coming up. I'll give you an example. In the season coming up, Baylee's going to card a hole-in-one.
Okay. Bring it on.
Baylee, outlandish prediction. Coming up season, what's your outlandish prediction for the coming season? Like best case, like just if everything goes right.
Okay. I really want to say it, but I can't.
Say it.
Oh, you should say that.
No, I shouldn't. I really shouldn't.
Oh yeah.
I should paraphrase it. I'll say that Baylee will pull her head out of her butt and stop letting her mental focus get in the way of her performance.
I'm okay with that paraphrasing. Coach Schneider, what's your bold prediction for 2020, 2021?
My bold prediction for Baylee would be that she shoots even par or better in a tournament because she's fully capable of it. If she does what she just paraphrased. As a team, I think that we can win a tournament. I think that as individuals, I've got a lot of players that are coming in that could win tournaments individually. But outlandish claim, I'm going to say this is going to be the best team we've ever had.
Awesome. I like that outlandish claim. And if you're at home and you're watching this Thursday 30, there's never been a better time to become a supporter of the women's golf team. You get to support Baylee and an influx of young talent coming to be a Bulldog. It's going to be a team that's fun. It's going to be a team that's got a personality, and you're going to get to watch this team grow over the next 2 and 4 years. So there's never been a better time to be a Bulldog golf fan. Any closing thoughts, Baylee? Any closing thoughts, Coach Schneider?
No, sir.
Oh, so don't call me sir.
Thanks for having us on here. This has been fun.
That's absolute blast. We do want to thank Ingles Markets for their sponsorship of the Thursday 30. Ingles, low prices, love savings. Coach Schneider, Baylee, we'll see you out on the course. Well, I'll cheer for you out on the course. How about that?
Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.